In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build a local chatbot with Ollama, with Llama 3.2, with Streamlit, and with LangChain. Now, you might already have seen other videos about building a chatbot with Streamlit, so why is this video different? Now, in this video, I don't want you just to copy paste my code from GitHub, but I'm going to show you exactly how every component of LangChain and Streamlit works together to build this chatbot. So I'm going to show you 4 Python scripts, and in every script, I'm going to increase the complexity just a little bit, and I'm going to introduce you to more components. At the end of this video, you will have a fully working chatbot, and you will understand entirely how all the different components work together. Now, before diving into the code, let's start with the installation of Ollama so that we can run this chatbot locally on a computer. Now, in order to get started, the first step is to download Ollama. And Ollama is an application that allows us to run large language models locally on your computer. So navigate to ollama.com and then click here on download and then select the version for your operating system. So I'm going to select the one for Windows and then click on download for Windows. Now, after the download has been finalized, you're just going to run through the installation wizard, then click here on the Windows logo, type CMD, and press enter to open a terminal. And then we're going to start the Ollama application by typing Ollama and pressing enter. And then Ollama will provide us a list with all the commands that we can execute. So I'm going to type Ollama list, and this will show us the models that have already been installed on this machine. So as you can see, I've already installed Llama 3.2. And at this moment, if you run this command, you will see that the list is still empty, and that's because you haven't installed a model yet. So let's do that first. So on the Ollama website, we're going to navigate to models, and then we get a list of all the models that we can run. And first of all, you see the DeepSeek model. In this video, you can use it, but if you want to follow the other videos in this playlist, I'm going to recommend you not to use DeepSeek because it doesn't support tool calling. And you see that Llama 3.3 supports tool calling. So you see tools here, but as you can see, this model is quite large. It has 70 billion parameters, so it will not run on everyone's PC. So I'm going to advise you to use this model, Llama 3.2. And as you can see, Llama 3.2 supports tool calling. And this is the feature that we're going to use in the other videos of this playlist. Then you will see that there are 2 variants. There is one model version with 1 billion parameters and one version with 3 billion parameters. And to summarize it, if you have a smaller PC, I would recommend to use the 1 billion parameters model, and it requires less GPU and less RAM. And if you have a computer with a bit more memory and a better GPU, you can use as well the 3 billion parameters model. So just select the model that you want, and you see here that a comment is being generated, and you can copy this, then navigate back to the console, and with this comment you can run this model. So copy this comment and then press enter, and this will start the installation of this model. I've already installed it, so as you can see, I can now start chatting with the model. If you're done chatting with the model, you can just type /buy, and this will then terminate Ollama. If you just want to chat with Ollama, there is another video on my channel that shows how you can install OpenWebUI, and OpenWebUI allows you to talk to Ollama from a really nice user interface, which is really different than talking to Ollama from the console. Now in this video, we're going to focus on building our own chatbot with Python and Ollama. So I'm going to close the terminal and we're going to open VS Code. You can find all the scripts that I'm showing you in this video on my GitHub. So just navigate to the link in the description, and then let's copy this command in order to clone the GitHub repository, open a terminal, paste it right here, press enter, and then we're going to change to this directory. So cd to Ollama test chatbot, and then let's create a new virtual environment. So we're going to do that with python -m venv and press enter. And then in order to activate a virtual environment, we're going to type venv scripts activate and press enter. And now let's install all the necessary libraries in the virtual environment. And then once everything has been installed, let's take a look at our first script. So at the start of this video, I promise you that we're going to build our own chatbot. And of course, that's what we're going to do. And the way that I structure this video is I'm going to show you 4 different scripts. And in every script, I'm going to increase the complexity a bit. So I'm going to start by explaining what LangChain is. Then I will introduce you to Streamlit. And then in the 3rd and the 4th script, I'm going to show you how you can build this chatbot. So LangChain is a Python library that allows you to build LLM agnostic applications. So you can basically build an application and you can use the same application. You don't have to change anything in order to work with Ollama, to work with, for example, ChatGPT or with the Anthropic models. But if you change just a few things, you can as well connect it to, for example, ChatGPT from OpenAI. So that's really easy. You can just change this to OpenAI. Then you import chat OpenAI, and then you change this one to chat OpenAI. And of course, you have to as well then select a model from OpenAI, like GPT-4o, for example.
And of course, you have to provide it an API key, which is in this case, for example, ABC. So LangChain allows you to build applications that you can just plug in into any model. Now let's go back to the connection with Ollama, like this. So what we are doing here, first we are initiating the large language model. So this is where we are setting up the connection with the LLM. Then this is the core of LangChain, because what we are doing here is we are providing LangChain with a chain of messages. So you see that the system message is act like a pirate. Then the human said, hey, how are you today? And then during the conversation, we would add more messages. And then the AI would say something like, I'm good, how are you? And then you would add another message, etc., etc. And of course, this entire chain is built up during the entire conversation that you have with the large language model. But first of all, let's see if the script works. So just click here. Now you see here that the temperature is configured to 0. And this means that every time that you execute this flow, the LLM will answer with the same message. So it's entirely deterministic. And if you change this to 1, it becomes very creative. And every time you run it, it will give a different response. Now, if the script is working for you as well, we're ready to go to the next step. And we can take a look at the Streamlit library.
So now you've seen how to talk to Ollama with LangChain. Let's take a look at how to use Streamlit. So you see that in this script, this is the second script, I'm importing Streamlit as ST. And then you see here prompt is ST chat input. So here I'm asking for the input. And I'm going to show you in a second what this is going to generate. Now you see here if prompt. And this basically means as soon as someone has typed anything in the text box, then what we're going to do, so the first thing you see here is with ST chat message user, ST markdown prompt. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the prompt, so what the person typed on the screen. And because we are building an AI chatbot, so in this AI chatbot, there is the user asking questions, and then the assistant is basically replying to those questions. So this is just to put the message from the user on the screen. And then in this example, the assistant is going to say, you said, and then exactly what the user said. And now let's take a look at what this very minimal example is going to generate for us. And if you want to work with Streamlit, you cannot run the project from Python anymore, but you have to execute these Streamlit applications. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. So first of all, copy the name of this file, which is this one. Make sure that you're working in the right directory, which is Ollama-chatbot. And then you're going to type Streamlit, run, and then the name of the Python script, which is toStreamlit-example.py. Press enter. And then you will see that your browser will pop up and you will see here, say something. And this say something is exactly this line in the code. So how you see here, prompt ST chat input say something. So this is generating this input field. And then if prompt, so the next part of the script is only executed as soon as we type something. So let's just type hello. So then you will see here that the user typed hello. So you see here the icon of the user and the icon of the chatbot. And the chatbot is going to say, you said hello. Now, the problem with this script, if I say something again, for example, hi, how are you? Then this will override what is already on the screen. So you will see that the previous messages have disappeared. And this is because this chatbot doesn't have memory. So in the next sections of this video, I'm first going to show you how to add memory to the chatbot. And secondly, I'm going to show you how to integrate a real large language model in this flow. So stay tuned. So in this script, you see that we are importing Streamlit as well, but we're also importing LangChain, and that's to keep track of the messages that are sent between the user and the assistant. And then you also see that we are providing a title to our chatbot, and I will later show you where you can find this title. And then I'm just going to skip this part, which I'm going to show you in a second, and we're going to start right here. So as you can see here, we are asking for the prompt. We're providing an example prompt, how are you? This is entirely the same as in the previous script, and this is as well entirely the same. And then as soon as we get the prompt from the user, we put it on the screen with ST markdown prompt. You have seen this as well before. And this is a new element. So what we are doing here is we are referring to ST session state messages. And then we are appending this message to the chain of messages. And this is where we add this message to Streamlit's memory. And with human message, this is where we use the LangChain library. Because with human message, we tell this chatbot that this is a message that was sent by the user and not the reply from the assistant. And then you will see here that we are generating the response. So as soon as we have the message from the user, we are appending the message from the user here with an F string. So if you say hello, the assistant is just going to say echo hello. And then you see here that we are as well putting the reply from the assistant on the screen, and that we are as well appending the reply from the assistant to st session state messages. But here we use the LangChain AI message object, which tells the chatbot that this is the reply from the assistant and not a message from the user. And now the only thing that we do in this part of the script is that we take everything that is in st session state messages, so in the memory of the chatbot, and if it is a human message, then we put it on the screen as a human message, and if it's an AI message, if it's coming from the assistant, then we put it on the screen as an assistant message. So that's what we are checking here in if is instance message, if it's a human message or if it's an AI message. We're just checking what kind of object we have provided right here. Now let's imagine that there are 4 messages here, 2 from the user and 2 from the assistant. They will be put on the screen, and then you will see here that the 5th and the 6th message will also be put on the screen. They will also be added to the memory. So at the next refresh, they will be processed here instead of here and here. So now you know as well how to add memory to the chatbot. So let's see the script in action. Let's start with hello, and then how are you? And now you will see what is different than in our previous example, because now you will see that the messages are added to the screen and we are not just overwriting the messages. And this is because we have added memory. Now, if you like this video and my style of explaining, then please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really means a lot to me. And keep watching, because the next step we're also going to integrate with a real large language model. So we actually built a working chatbot, but the only problem is that this chatbot is not actually replying on our messages. It's just echoing what we just said. So let's change that. You will see that this script is entirely the same as the previous script. There are just a few minor differences. Of course, we are importing the LangChain Ollama library. Of course, if you want to integrate with OpenAI or with Anthropic, for example, you have to import those libraries. Let's navigate down. So here you will see that we are adding to the screen what the user just said. This is entirely the same. But here, instead of echoing, we are actually integrating with a large language model. So here we are integrating the LLM object. If you want to add, for example, a temperature, you can do that just like this. And then this is where we are actually invoking the large language model. And of course, we are providing the messages. So everything that has been said, the entire history is provided to the model, so that can respond to the entire chain and not just to the previous message. And then we are referring to .content. And then, of course, instead of just echoing, we are adding the result of what the LLM said to the screen, and we are also adding it to the history. Now, there is one more thing that I also want to show you, and that is, I'm just going to copy this one. If you want to add a system message, you can do that right here. And then instead of AI message, I'm going to say system message. You'll see this one will also get colored. And then the system message is act like an astronaut. And because here we are going through all the messages, but we are only putting the human message and the AI message on the screen, so we are not showing the prompt, which is normally what you want because you want to keep the prompt hidden. And before I run the chatbot, I'm going to increase the temperature a bit because I wanted to actually act like an astronaut. And then I'm just going to type Streamlit run. Now you will see here, greetings, mission control. So the chatbot is actually acting as an astronaut. And I just want to check whether the memory is also working. My name is Thomas. And then I'm just going to ask in my next message, what is my name? And you will see that the chatbot will respond with, your name is actually Thomas. So this is proving that the chat history is working as expected. Now keep watching, because in my next video, I'm going to show you how you can add RAG or retrieval augmented generation to this chatbot. I hope to see you there.